Much and welcome to Lowestoft Town Council's meeting of the Climate and Ecology Emergency Committee today, which is the 28th of April 2025. Just a little bit of housekeeping first. There are no fire alarm tests planned for today, so should the fire alarm sound, it will be for real. In the event of a fire, please follow the instructions that will be given and congregate on the grass verge to the side of the Quick Fit building. The fire exits are the main stairwell to the reception area and a separate flight of stairs in the kitchen. Reporting at meetings in the interest of openness and transparency, councillors and members of the public are reminded that the law permits any person to film, record, photograph or use social media in order to report on the proceedings of a meeting of the council or its committees when they're open to the public. The town council will record this meeting. Filming and photography will only be permitted from the area designated. No flash photography or additional lighting should be used without prior consent. Anyone wishing to report on the meeting should notify the clerk or the chair so they can be afforded reasonable facilities. People under the age of 18 or other members of the public not wishing to be filmed or photographed should notify the clerk or the chair and should sit in the designated area for this purpose. Improper conduct or any disruptive behaviour could result in expulsion from the meeting. Can you please ensure your mobile phones are changed to silent or switched off and adhere to the non-smoking policy for this building and the grounds of Hamilton House? Thank you. Hello, Kathy. Just before we start, we'll just go around the table and tell you who's here, the members of the committee that are here today. Myself, Paul Page, and we have Janet Craig, Wendy Brooks, John Pitts, Kathy Williams, John Sillett, Graham Parker, and from the office we have Taylor Williams, who is the committee clerk. So let's make a start. To receive 150, to receive and consider approval of apologies for absence. Taylor?
Yes, Chair, we received apologies from Benjamin Paul with reasons provided, and just to note that Councillor Ray's in attendance via Zoom.
Oh, Graham.
I propose we accept.
Yeah. Thank you. Can I have a seconder for that? I'll do that. I'll second that. That's vote for that, please, to accept those apologies. That's unanimous. That's everybody. And hello, Debbie. Can you hear us, Debbie? She can. Thank you.
Hello, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, that's okay. Thank you.
Good.
Please, you could come on board. 151, declarations of interest and dispensations. 151.1, to receive declarations of disclosable pecuniary and other registrable and non-registrable interests from members on items on the agenda. Graham?
Yeah, item number 158.2. I'm an East Suffolk Council member.
Yep. That's the Living Streets Initiative. Yep, thank you. Janet, same?
Yes, same for me.
Thank you. John?
Item 156, member of East Suffolk Travel Association.
Thank you, John. Anybody else? Nope. Thank you. 151.2, to consider written requests for dispensations for disclosable pecuniary interests and not note dispensations granted. Taylor? None
received, Chair.
Thank you. 152, to consider the draft minutes of the meeting on the 17th of March. Has everybody had a chance to look at those? Wendy?
Approve.
Thank you. You would like to second that? Graham, second by Graham. A vote on that, please. That's everybody. Thank you very much. 153, public forum, an opportunity for the public to make comments on any matters on this agenda and to consider any advance comments from the public.
So no advance comments received, Chair, and as I said, only Councillor Ray's in attendance via Zoom.
Thank you very much. Thank you. 154, finance and budget. 154.1, to monitor expenditure by this committee from the climate emergency budget under delegated authority. Anything we need to know there, Taylor?
No, I don't have an updated
No.
budget position at this time.
I don't think there's been any expenditure. Okay, anybody want to talk about that? No, we're fine, we'll move on. This is rapid. 155, to consider issues relating to the energy and water supply of the built environment of Lowestoft and its relevant actions. 155.1, receive feedback from a meeting with the MP to discuss the decision by National Grid to build pylons through the Waveney Valley. Wendy.
Yes, if people remember, this was called by this committee because people felt they didn't have enough information about the various options to take energy from the wind farms down to London, basically. I think those of us who were there, I think we all thought it was, particularly Fiona from CIAS was extremely impressive in terms of understanding the issues and knowing that the options to go offshore are certainly options that are being used in other European countries. And also there were some very interesting comments by Rosie about how existing pylons potentially could be upgraded, so you don't actually need the National Grid, which, in case anybody doesn't know, is a private company. It is not, and the word, it's like
You think it's
national
nationalised?
rate. Yes, but I think old people like me always assume if it's got national in front of it, it means it's owned by us, but it isn't.
Ah.
And one of the largest shareholders is BlackRock, which I think people will be familiar with. So they are driven by profit. They're not driven by what is best for the environment. So I propose that we, as this committee, recommend it to full council. We support Suffolk County Council's opposition because Suffolk County Council oppose this scheme because of it will go right through the Waveney Valley, which is an area of scientific interest. It's extremely important in terms of biodiversity and nature. For some reason, Suffolk County Council have really grabbed this one. You know, it's most unusual for them, but they have. And even though our local MP feels she can't really intervene because it's not her ward, I think we can. We're part of Suffolk. Our money goes to our council tax goes to Suffolk, and I think we should support them. I mean, there is a growing number of voices seeing that the number of infrastructure projects, the solar farms, the Sizewell C, now these pylons is just all. There is so much, and the cumulative effect on the county is I don't think it's sustainable. So I propose that we support Suffolk County Council opposition to onshore pylons.
Thank you.
And urge the government to seek alternative methods, because apparently financially there isn't really that much difference in cost, although they keep highlighting the cost issue.
Yeah.
But in fact, according to Fiona, I think the difference in cost is negligible. It isn't massive.
No, I thought it was a cost thing. John, thank you, Wendy. We've got a proposal. John.
Yes, I'd second that if I can. Yes, I thought the meeting was very useful. There was some good explanations as to how power can be transmitted different ways, subsea, or if it has to be on land and underground. I think, as Wendy says, the cheapest option is being promoted here, and I think everyone knows that we need more capacity in the system for the switching for renewables from, you know, when it's cloudy days and there's no wind. It does need upgrading, but I'm concerned that the authorities in this matter are not looking at all the options which we heard from the speakers at that meeting, you know, about upgrading existing transmission lines and of protecting the natural landscape as well. And it's not it's not a holistic view being taken. So yes, I think, and yes, we are interested. Of course, Lowestoft, the town, is interested in the renewables and has an interest. But yes, we're part of Suffolk, and we should look at the landscapes and look at the issues in a wider. It's important that we do. So I'll second that.
Thank you. I'll come back to you in a minute, Wendy. Can I go to John first? John?
Yeah, I agree. I think the speakers were full of good information, or most of it was good. I particularly was interested in the account of that Fiona gave regarding the transmitting tidal energy, and I don't think this country has really looked at that closely enough. And I would also go along with Wendy's proposal, just the same, but maybe just to add, let's get Fiona back in again if she's available, and maybe we can kickstart some interest in that somehow.
Thank you, John. Good idea. Wendy?
Yeah, I mean, really following on from what John's just said, I thought I totally agree with him on that. But the other thing that Fiona raised was that they see the CIAS people, they see Lowestoft as being key in terms of research and development for renewable energy. And they have I've heard her speak about it before, but they have a fabulous vision for the town. So that in terms of it being a centre for things like tidal power and all the rest of it. And I'm happy to add John's suggestion that we get Fiona back in and we talk to her about how can we support taking these ideas. I mean, it's very exciting actually what she was offering, I think.
Yeah.
Rather than as just being a dumping ground, we actually become somewhere where research and development of renewables actually, be at the forefront. So great, it's fabulous. So if I can, is that all right? Does that make sense, Taylor?
So we've got a proposal.
Yeah, thanks,
to support Suffolk County Council, and also to get Fiona back for further chats about what we can do. Anybody else like to speak on that? I think we're all of the same mind on this one. Okay, shall we have a vote on that one then, please? That's you. Oh,
I abstain.
oh, that's a,
Meeting, so
oh well, that's very fair, Graham. So we got.
I wasn't either.
Well, that's fine. No, I wasn't.
It sounds like a good idea.
I wasn't at the meeting, but I've been reading on it. So that's 5 and then 1 abstention, please. Was that no? Go back to counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Come on, Paul. Key stage 1.
Taylor, did we record that meeting?
It wasn't formally recorded, but I took minutes. Those minutes have been uploaded to the website. I can send them around to the members here individually. But yeah, we've got it recorded in minutes of the discussion.
Would you be able to do that?
Yeah, no problem at all.
Then everybody will have those minutes to look at. But thank you for all those people who did take part, and I think it's very positive. Sorry, Wendy.
Yeah, I was just going to say, logistically, I don't think, although I propose we go to full council, I think we only go to full council if we can ensure we have somebody like Fiona along as well, because there's a lot of ignorance in this issue, which is why we organised the meeting with Fiona. So that people don't just vote along their traditional lines. It'd be very interesting if actually we tied it in with a comment from Fiona or Rosie or both of them at the beginning to address the issue, so that people kind of have a bit of an idea about what the issue is.
Yeah, and yeah, of course, maybe not ignorance, maybe just they need educating on it. Really, it's slightly different, but yeah, we haven't got all the facts. You don't know, do you? Sorry. Well, there's connotation around that word. Debbie, if she wants to come in, I can't see her, can I? Is she allowed to come in?
Yeah, so if a member is attending via Zoom, they can, at the chair's discretion, speak throughout the meeting. She just can't take part in the voting. But
I heard something on that speaker, and I thought it was her trying to speak. But...
No, it wasn't Paul. Sorry, there was a bit of noise in the background here. No, I wasn't at the meeting, so I can't really make any further comment.
No, thank you, Debbie.
Okay.
Right, okay, we go on to the second part of that then, 155.2. Recommendation to full council on whether to support Suffolk County Council's opposition to the proposed. It's in two parts. Yeah, so sorry, I beg your pardon. So we've covered that in the first part. Yeah, thank you. Okay, then 156 to consider public transport and alternative methods of travel and relevant actions. 156.1 receive notes from the meeting of the Public Transport Working Group and approve its project. Thank you. Wendy.
I think we managed to get a remit together so we can keep meeting. That was a sticking point of what we're actually doing. I've still got a question about the survey because I think we've said we wanted the survey published.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it hasn't happened, and I don't know why it still hasn't happened.
I've spoken to Michael about it on several occasions. It's simply that he's just very busy and he's trying to make time.
So the intention is to do it whenever you got.
Yes, because it was done in collaboration with our consultee Karen. The entire survey is like under her branding and everything, so he just needs to discuss with her about how he can then put it onto our website and if our branding can be put on it. It's just small things like that they just need to go through.
So there's a good chance by the time we meet again that should be.
I'm chasing him on it, so hopefully.
I'll try to tie you down as soon as possible. That's fine. Thank you very much. Anybody like to? There must be other things from the Transport Working Group. I think.
Well, there is something, which is Graham seems to have some information that
I was going to come to that.
I think he should share with us.
Well, it wasn't Graham. It was Christian came to me first, Wendy.
Sorry?
Christian came to me and said that he had some very interesting information about a bus route that could be reinstated and that Suffolk County Council were looking very favourably at it. No promises, but they were looking favourably. He was going to send me the information. He hasn't, but I know that Graham and John probably know more about it than I do, so I'll hand over to Graham.
Before you get on to that point, I just want to say what we actually discussed at the last working group was the recommendation to Climate that basically we have East Suffolk Travellers organisation as part of that working group. And we said we had to get approval here at this meeting for that to actually happen. So I'd like to propose that we have Trevor Garrett, who's the actual representative, to be part of that working group. First, I think we need to clear that up first.
Okay, that's fine. Have you got can we have a seconder for that then?
I just want to clarify something. I thought we already had the agreement of this committee that we could meet with the East Suffolk Travellers Association and the Wherry Lines. Am I right or wrong? I don't think we need named individuals. I think whoever can make it.
Yeah, a working group doesn't have any restriction to membership in terms of councillors only. It's open to everyone. What needs to be agreed by the Climate Committee is the new purpose of the working group, their new project that they're doing. That's what needs to be approved. Then they can continue with their meetings.
Okay. Did you want to rephrase that then?
Yeah, I just want to say there was an email come out because we'd actually planned the meeting for the working group, and then an email come out and said I had to go to Climate for them to approve. So here we are.
Oh, I don't know who sent the.
That was an email I sent previously, and it was just saying your project, your new purpose needs to be approved by Climate before you meet again. Well,
we can approve that.
Just as a formality.
It's a formality. I propose that we approve the project that you're now involved in.
Yeah, Graham's proposed.
Yes, yeah.
I'll second.
Okay, we'll vote on that, everybody. That's everybody, thank you, Dave. So we got that through then, Graham. So did you want to talk about the bus now?
Not particularly, because it's very much in its early stages.
Okay.
So I think maybe we can discuss it at the working group.
Yeah, 100%.
And see where we go from there.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else like to know any more information about that, or?
I just want to know when you had the conversation with Christian. Is it recently?
At full council. Last Monday.
Last week.
But it was only kind of Christian and I talking. It wasn't official. It wasn't
Right.
it wasn't at any meeting.
I'm just one for process, and I
Graham.
don't like things done that way.
Yeah, can I suggest, Chair, that we don't talk names at the moment
Yeah.
because this might be a bit sensitive.
Of course.
So
of
I
course.
suggest if we can move on.
Yeah, I think we better leave that one. Okay. And anything else from the transport group? Not buses. No.
Just a note, Chair. So until now, I've been sitting to do the minutes for the working group. I know it's the intention of the working group to have them as monthly meetings in order to maintain momentum for the project. As that stands, I don't really have capability to be able to sit in and minute them. But that's fine if I'm not there, because similar to some other working groups we've had, such as Youth Forum, the working group can still go ahead and they
Without
can be,
minutes, yeah.
yeah, they can be in charge of their notes, and then it's just
So that's an easy one.
so they can just be in charge of their notes.
Their
and
own-
it will
their own.
report back to the climate committee periodically. But I know that the working group is very keen for it to be monthly, so that momentum
Yeah,
continues
thank
on
you.
the project.
Wendy?
I mean, I'm not having a go at Taylor, but actually, I think the Transport Working Group showed itself to be very proactive and is actually doing things. And I think we need staff to take the minutes. You know, there are other working groups that, I mean, there's a
Yeah.
tree working group that's never met. The Youth Forum has never met. But this is a different kettle of fish. Working groups, we normally do have a member of staff to take the minutes. And this seems to me to be a decision on the part of staff that somehow it's not important enough for you
Well.
to come along and take the minutes.
Graham?
I do agree with Councillor Brooks, actually. I mean, the working group was very, very positive last time.
Mm.
And I feel it would be of benefit if we did actually have an officer
Yeah.
present.
Taylor, we're not picking on you, but if the working group are making decisions that affect things,
It's simply that I have so much
yeah.
workload with minute taken for all the committees and subcommittees. But in that case, I'll have to just make it work. And
Sorry. Graham?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. And we did actually have an environmental working group. We never actually had an officer present at that. But it would actually be ideal if we did for this particular group.
I think you're right. See what you can do. And if not, we'll have to come back to the office and talk again. Wendy?
Well, I'm just interested that this decision is suddenly being made about our particular working group. Because it's never been made about any others, and it's certainly not made about some of the subcommittees that rarely quora and just have a couple of councillors on them. But that I've tried to argue for that one for free up staff time. It's about prioritising, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's just because we're the latest working group, does that mean we're the least important?
No, I don't think that's what Taylor's saying. I think she's just saying there's not enough hours in the day.
No, I'm not having a go at Taylor at all. But maybe we as councillors need to be mindful of the kind of things we are asking staff to turn up and take minutes for.
Very
That's
true.
outside of this committee.
Okay. We'll revisit that one. Graham?
I think that's where I'm taking a little bit of a different approach to Councillor Brooks. I believe it would be ideal to have an officer, but I don't think it is compulsory. An officer has got to attend those things. As I said, in the environmental working group, we never had an officer present at that.
No.
But I would like to see an officer present at this meeting.
Okay, that's fine. Sorry, Wendy,
It's a completely different case because the environmental working group was cross council. So it wasn't our initiative as such. It was East Suffolk, Suffolk County Council and Lowestoft Town Council and a couple of local people. It's completely different. This is our initiative.
Yeah. And I think
we've
we're saying we would like one.
Definitely,
Yeah.
that's our, yes,
Yeah.
I think
So-
that's what I would say. It's
Would it be?
because it's quite complicated. It's not a straight, it's quite a complicated group in terms of knowing the routes and all the rest of it. So I just feel that we're being, in a way, hung out to dry and being told, go away and get on with it. Whereas, in fact, the input we've had from both Taylor and Karen have been really helpful in those
Yeah.
meetings. And I don't want us to give up on that. I mean, it's not going to go on forever, the working,
No.
the transport working group, but it's certainly going to go on for a while.
Oh, sorry, John.
Okay. I think we're going to have to trust Taylor on this one
Yeah.
to assess and have a little look and see any of the other not the environmental, but the other working groups that possibly don't need them. And if some of them aren't meeting anymore now, then let's leave it to Taylor to try and fit this working group in front of some of the other ones. So
Thank you. I'm sure you'll do very bad.
Taylor, in you we trust.
So we'll try and get the next one organised for May. Whether that be mid-May or early May, we'll see what the availability is of everyone. And then at that meeting, we'll probably set up a somewhat permanent schedule of at this time of the month is whenever we'll try and have the meetings, and then we can get a schedule in place so we can keep that momentum going for it.
Thank you, Taylor. Graham?
Yeah, could I make a request, please? I'm in the Canary Isles from the 10th to the 17th of May, and I'd like to be on this first working group meeting. So could you please avoid these dates?
Yep.
I'll second Graham's request.
Holiday destination.
Put around for some dates early May, some dates late May to all members and Esther and the Wherry lines, and we'll see what we come back with as the agreed date.
Thank you, Taylor.
Probably later, I think. Towards the end of May.
We'll get it in. Thank you. Okay. 157. Here comes the old one that's coming around again. To consider the Lowestoft Town Council's draft climate action plan and relevant actions. 157.1. Receive an update on the draft climate action plan. Wendy.
I think I'm right, Taylor, that we're nearly there.
I hope so.
Yeah. And we wanted it. Is it really? We wanted to put it to full council, didn't we? Either at the AGM or just after.
That was the initial ambition. I don't think we'll quite meet those dates. That one's also going to have a new round of dates sent through. Again, avoiding dates that some members can't make. We'll aim for like end of May to get started on the new ones, but hopefully within the next few months or so, we'll have a completed draft to present to this committee. Deborah's got her.
I was going to
hand
say,
raised.
has Debbie's been working on that. So would you like to speak? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm trying to bring her into the meeting because she's not in the room. You're in the room. We're aware of that. Right, Debbie.
Yeah, at the last meeting, I think that we decided the plan was almost complete. There's just a couple more sections to do. Rachel was there. It was Wendy, myself and Rachel. And Rachel agreed to match the areas of the plan to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, which are basically a set of global goals introduced by the UN in 2012 to improve environment and life on the planet by 2030. So we thought it would be a good idea to actually signpost the Sustainable Development Goals in the plan. So Rachel's going to do that for us, which was nice of her. And yeah, we're on the home straight now, I think. And although it won't be ready by the May AGM, which we were hoping for, it shouldn't be much longer. So once we've finished all the sections, then we're going to go through the whole plan again, just to check everything. And then it will be ready for the whole committee to have a look at. It would be very nice if some more committee members would join us in the construction of this plan, because ideally we'd have as many members as possible putting their thoughts into it.
Yeah.
So thanks for that.
No, thank you. And thanks to everybody who's worked. Wendy, I know you work tirelessly on lots of committees. and I thank you for your work all the time. Not to miss you out. Wendy.
In a way, I think it's better it's not at the AGM because it's a very important document and it's detailed. And I think we want the space in a full council. We don't want we don't want people just sticking their hands up to it. We want actually people to know what it means and what it's about, what the commitment is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to trawl through it.
Yeah, and it's not just yet another policy to stick your hand up to. It's taken in lots of different aspects. It's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. The most interesting thing, which I've forgotten what they're called, but I think Deborah mentioned them, but I didn't quite hear, are these UN things.
Sustainable Development Goals.
What are they?
Sustainable Development Goals.
And Deborah and Rachel are well on to that one. So we're going to use those.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I just say something?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I agree with Wendy that I think it needs more attention paid to it. So, we want people to read it basically and to understand it. So it's probably not a good idea to present it at the AGM.
No. People need more time.
Yeah, exactly.
It needs to inform every committee's decisions throughout Lowestoft Town Council.
Yeah.
And councillors need to be aware of the implications of the climate action plan.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you for all those people involved in that hard work. So there's nothing to vote on there. So we move on to 158. To consider avenues of community engagement and relevant actions. 158.1, discuss the dates for the plastic-free events. Wendy.
I think we were looking for either sometime in May or June to do an area round about Norwich Road, some of the alleyways there. And then we were also looking at Rachel's suggestion that we work with the college as councillors. We don't actually invite the community to start cleaning up some of the stream that runs through the Gelp.
Yeah.
But we haven't actually fixed dates for either. So it might be, given how busy May is, it might be something we want to look towards June. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because we have the annual assembly beginning of May, we have the AGM, all of the
too many things.
Reorganisation of committees and new members, first meetings.
Yeah. So
I think June would definitely be a much more feasible time to be able to get these in place.
That's really interesting. So did Rachel say she'd get the students involved then?
What Rachel said was that if we were to invite the community and we're doing things like cleaning the stream, we've got all kinds of health and safety risks. And basically it'd be really difficult to go ahead with it. But if we do it as councillors and she's got stuff, she can cover the students, then we'll do it with a joint
Fantastic.
project.
Yeah, get young people involved.
Yeah, and I do want to say that the last alleyway we cleaned up, it's not perfect, Janet, I know there are still some people who leave their bins out, but that alleyway is better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Since our cleanup, there are still, most of the bins seem to be in now. There are still people that leave, not many, one or two leave overflowing bins that then get kicked over, and that is the problem. But I think because we've got environmental protection seem now to be picking up. If you report a bin being left out, they've certainly removed about 6 from round my way recently. So I think if we have to stay on it, that if there is, because the problem with the bins left out is not only to get contaminated, but they get knocked over and the rubbish blows everywhere. So, but they seem to be now focusing on, if we can just keep that going, and it didn't feel a waste of time. It was very enjoyable, but also I think there has been, they look cleaner to me.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just being optimistic. Janet, what do you think?
I think so. I think it's made a difference.
Made a difference. Yeah. And you do get a kind of a community spirit going when you do cleaning up operations. I've been involved in beach cleans, and you arrive there with people you've never met before, but when you leave, you're all working as a community to make that place better for everybody. So it does work.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing to do. So do we need to make a date for that?
I can do is speak with Chris and Michael, look at June, look at I assume we want it again on a weekend like we did last time. So we'll look at weekends around any other events and what's going on.
In June.
We'll get those and I'll email them out to
Thank you.
members. And then we can always bring it back just to formally confirm which ones. We confirm over email, we may be able to do that. But yeah, the next meeting we can always just have an update of these are the dates confirmed. We'll probably use a similar leaflet to what Michael produced last time, because that was very helpful for people, because he put the map on display and everything on it. And we'll just get the details like that confirmed.
Okay. Can't wait. Hi, thank you. Oh, that's okay. Look, Debbie's having a bar. Right, here we go. 158.2, receive an update on the support for the Living Streets initiative from the quarterly liaison meeting with the East Suffolk Council. I know you said...
Do we need to leave this chair up for this meeting?
Do you feel you want to?
I don't think they do.
What everybody else thinks.
No, I think
I wouldn't want you to.
My understanding was the report back was that East Suffolk Council said you're better off talking to Ipswich Borough Council because they're already doing it than talking to them. So I don't think Graham has to worry because they've already said they're not
going to be involved.
There's a conflict of interest.
which is a shame.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Wasn't there
because it's
something about us having to go to Ipswich? Wasn't there, to have a look at what's going on in Ipswich? I seem to remember.
Well, I think what we need to do is make contact with Ipswich Borough Council and say, we understand you've signed up to Living Streets. Can you tell us a bit about what you did and how you went about it?
Is that possible, Taylor?
Is that all right, Taylor?
And then perhaps, I'm sure I read somewhere that they said that you and I, Wendy, should go out to Ipswich and have a look at it.
Yes, I think we should.
I think you suggested it, but anyway.
But the thing, what I don't understand by the feedback was that East Suffolk Council said, "Oh no, nothing to do." But actually, the whole idea of it is that you get the parish, town, the district, and the county council working together on it.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why maybe it wasn't very well presented to them. I don't know.
No.
But it does seem to be a bit, oh no. I'd like East Suffolk to sign up for it, basically.
So I was attending that quarterly liaison. I took the minutes for it. And I know that Deborah was in attendance as well, so she'd be able to speak on it. But yeah, just to note that they said it's not really something they'd be able to lead on. They would be supportive of it if we proceeded. And they noted that they've got their cycling, wheeling, walking group initiative that's starting. They've got a group working on that as well. But they were very interested by the Living Streets and they thought it was a very positive initiative. I don't know if Deborah has anything further to add.
Deborah, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, just to support what Taylor said. They said they were very interested, but they said maybe a local group can pick it up. They suggested Use Your Voice as one of the local environmental groups. But they said they couldn't take the lead on it, but they're prepared to support us in any way they can. Caroline did say that they tried in Beccles to actually close off a street for half an hour to let children play in the street, and they had problems with motorists not being happy about not being able to get through the streets. So there are challenges with that. But I suppose there are ways of overcoming them. But she just said it was a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Wendy?
I think Beccles has traditionally an issue over closing its streets. You know, some really nasty responses to when they were trying to do it on the market square around that Blythe Gate.
Hmm.
And it was really, really horrible what happened. I think Lowestoft's we're doing a different way, and it certainly isn't permanent. It's literally you do it for a morning, or it's just an opportunity. It's the way I don't think a small group can do it, Deborah. They can certainly support it, but I think it needs it would need East Suffolk, Suffolk County Council, and the Town Council working together. And I think we just there's lots of information about how you go about it. We get in touch with Ipswich, that might help, but it certainly isn't about shutting streets off forever. It literally is giving an opportunity, a kind of
Yeah.
morning or something.
Yeah, well,
1 month, you know, like you just say.
but streets are often closed to put in internet cables, aren't they? All over the town for a day, 2 days, 3 days. So why you can't shut for a few hours for children playing, I just don't understand that. But anyway, that's another question.
Just need information, don't we?
Yeah.
We need.
Kathy.
They manage it in Leeds City Centre. They have a cycle event every so often where they close the streets in Leeds City Centre. You kind of feel if they can manage it in a huge, great city like Leeds,
Really?
that we ought to be able to manage it in a town like Lowestoft.
Or like
Would be
Beccles.
or Beccles, be my thoughts. But yeah, absolutely. Well, no, it's for children cycling. They have I can't. I mean, I haven't lived in Leeds for for a couple of years now, but certainly they had a regular Sunday morning where the roads are quiet. They would shut it off so that people can cycle, children can cycle through the city centre. And I think it was just a couple of hours on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, which is great.
That's the
Yeah.
kind of thing that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So Leeds is the beacon.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there are many others. I just worked for Leeds City Council for a long time, so was aware of it through that. But that was a couple of years ago now, so it may have died a death for all I know. But yeah, certainly it is possible.
Thank you, Kathy. We'll have to have a look at that. I'll have a look when I get home. Anybody else on that? No. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, I think that's everything. 159, date of next meeting. Monday the 19th of May at 3:30. 160, any items for the next agenda and you can think of? John?
Might just want to have a look at that email I've sent.
Yes, I did. I read that today. The crumb, yeah.
Take a week to read it.
Absolutely.
It was very lengthy, John. Not yours, the one the FA response.
Well, there's the one. Worth putting on the agenda.
Yeah.
I haven't even had time to read it. I didn't get it until mid-morning, so
Yeah.
I haven't really read it properly yet.
Yes, if we could put that on, please, Taylor. Revisit that. Thank you. Well, then that just leaves me to say thank you all for attending and thank you all for. Oh no, it doesn't. Debbie wants to come in.
Yeah, sorry. Couple of things. Can we have an update on the Plastic Free Communities Steering Group?
Steering group. Plastic steering group.
And also, I don't know whether anyone saw the quite inflammatory headlines in the Lowestoft Journal last week about the kitty wakes.
Yes.
That's also been picked up by Radio 2 today. It was discussed on the Jeremy Vine show on Radio 2 about
Really?
about the Lowestoft kitty wakes. So I was wondering whether we could ask Amy Duran, the kitty wake officer.
Amy Duran, yeah.
Yeah, just to come in and have a chat with us and let us know what she's been doing about it, because people are basically not very happy about the kitty wakes. They're confusing them with the herring gulls. And I think one of Amy's jobs was to communicate with the public, to actually explain the differences and try to
indeed
deal with these problems. So can we ask Amy to come in and have a chat with us?
I'm sure we could, Taylor. Is that okay?
Yeah, I can send Amy an email discussing what's been happening and
Yeah.
see got availability for that meeting to come in and just have a discussion on it.
On the 19th of May. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Great.
Wendy?
East Suffolk put out, as part of the Kittiwake Partnership, they put out a very, very good, very short film on the Kittiwakes recently. And it came out after that terrible headline about hooligan Kittiwakes, which was so ridiculous, the whole article. Well, the whole article actually didn't justify that headline at all.
No.
There are issues, but they're not made. It's so much better than it was. I think, you know, the kind of hostility is definitely not as much, but the media will always find somebody to complain about them pooing on their heads. So it never happens to me. And you just wonder, what are these people doing that it happens to them? Because it never has happened to me, ever. Whether it's a herring gull or a kittiwake. So there is, you know, it's that kind of fake. Well, it's just hysteria, isn't it? Really?
We'll put that on the agenda. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. And hopefully Amy will be able to make it next time. That's it then. So thank you all for attending, and anyone watching